Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stone-Faced Reactions. I'm Theta, and this is once again Crest of the Stars. But before we get into the episode proper, we have a series of comments left by Elro Savant over on the Discord. Once again, Elro Savant, as y'all may recall, is the person who so kindly gave us the few episodes we've gotten through so far anyway of Raw Zaphon. I want to take a moment here before I get into your comments. Now that I realize it, I always said that Raw Zaphon was better than Neon Genesis Evangelion, and I stand by that. But now I'm even more disappointed because I've watched all of Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water, knowing now that that story was supposed to have been, but could not be tied in to Neon Genesis Evangelion. So Raw Zaphon better than Neon Genesis, but Neon Genesis could have been so great, and now I'm so sad about it. Anyway, comments. Al Savant says, regarding royalty here in the UK, there's a lot of silent support for royal family here, as many don't really vocalize it or mention it often, but there's a vast majority who view it positively as seem them one with the idea of the United Kingdom and see alternatives as worse off. When King Charles was still a prince, he was seen as unpopular by many for plenty of reasons. However, after the passing of the late Queen Elizabeth, he ascended to a kingly figure instead of a princely one, which allowed people to warm up to him nowadays, as he understood what it meant to be king. I believe I also, uh, I believe I also clarified. I don't remember what I originally said to inspire this. I think it was a comment about the vassals of the Baron in episode 7 and 8. But I believe the idea was that I said something which didn't imply the thing that I meant, which I do all the time. I think I meant something about the silent majority, the people who don't say anything, when in adverse to the the negative minority, right? That a lot of people sounding negative about a thing is louder than the quiet people who say nothing because they're fine. Normally, that's used as an example of a bad thing happening and people not speaking out, but it can also mean that people are okay, cool with, or otherwise prefer what's happening in a harmless situation to the people who are just a squeaky wheel in the machine. What else? And regarding Sealney's desire to be a vassal, it seems that hasn't been mentioned, unlike the books where she is originally from a place of no resources, so by becoming a vassal, it would lead to a better life in her view. And regarding the Baron's lineage, I don't remember it mentioned why they were given the status of Ab and their title in the show. I do think it was mentioned, I don't know if it was Sealney who mentioned it, that they do come from a place with no resources. I think that was episode 7, if I'm right. I don't remember who says it. It might be the Baron describing things, or I don't think it was Sealney herself. I just do remember that this was the plight of their people and why they were so enraptured by the Baron. But yeah, no, I think it was more about Sealney wanting to be a vassal of Lafiel, not so much her desire to be one at all for the Baron. I think I was just more questioning the fact if she was just enraptured by the idea so much that she might come to her senses, kind of like it seemed. I apologize. I've got to scroll up my list of names to double check who I mean. Greta. You remember when Greta comes to her senses and is like, we're all gonna die here if I don't organize the Baron's forces to save us from asphyxiation? And she's like, I'm going to say whatever I need to say to make sure I don't die, including calling the Baron Master and then Your Excellency again. I don't believe that she believes in what she's saying. I believe that she's come to the realization of this is all bullshit and I need to do what I need to do to survive. Let's see. The now dead Baron's grandmother was originally from a land world planet. Right, I got the whole Landers thing, don't worry. Named De La Plance, which had an overpopulation, so between moving to a less populous planet or joining the Star Force and becoming an Imperial citizen, she chose the latter. She met the Baron's grandfather in the army and then had Sloof. The grandmother joined Sinruk Fazir Rubran, I'm sure I've said that all wrong, Academy for Arms Manufacturer and became a star pilot. She was talented as a Fazik engineer and reached the ranks of Spenik Fazir, engineering admiral, and Saim Bahabit Hadtor, I am way off on all these, I'm sure, Director General of Warship Management. And given she reached the rank of an admiral, she was given a noble rank and the domain. I'm assuming this is all stuff that's not going to be covered, considering the fact that this is the backstory of characters who have never been mentioned, who we do know exist, though, obviously. Obviously, Sloof didn't come from nowhere. But the fact that we're moving past the barony kind of makes me believe that we're never. I'm not unless an opening crawl, right, gives us that, like the crawl just informs us of the world. So I appreciate the knowledge. I just wish there was something I could do with it. And regarding the way of the Ab, they very much believe in noblesse oblige, which means that nobility extends beyond mere entitlement, requiring people who hold such status to fulfill social responsibilities. See, I learned about that statement from a different anime, Eden of the East, if you've seen it. Um, a bunch of people have given phones, and the phones have a certain amount of money on them. And the thing that they have to do is they have to make Japan a better place with that money, provably. Otherwise, I think supposedly they'll die if they spend all their money. And what you do is you call the phone and you say, I want this to happen, and it happens. Like, one of the examples is, I want the Prime Minister of Japan to say poop on live television. And he's like, during a meeting, he's like, somebody walks up to him, or whispers to him, poop, say poop. And he says poop. And the guy has like a certain amount of money reduced from his phone. I'm rambling here, but the point being is that every time you talk to the voice on the phone tells you, noblesse oblige, we pray for your continuing service as a noble leader or something like that. So that's where I learned the term noblesse oblige from. Let's see, last sentence here. This Baron arc was the end of Volume 1 and the start of Volume 2 for books, so there's some extra fluff at the end of this arc. So, does that mean that the thing we saw on the preview is going to be fluff and not actually part of the arc? The whole them coming to terms with the United Mankind showing up? I don't know that would change anything from my perspective, but I guess it's good to know. Unless it doesn't happen and you're telling me there's something in the book that happens that it doesn't happen here. I think otherwise, before we get started, the only things on my mind are one, is Jinto having hallucinations? We've gotten the hug scene he has in his mind between Lafiel and himself, which turns out not to be true. We have the conversation with Dorian where he's has this whole imaginary future with him, which seems to not be true. I think the fact that we have the hug scene with Lafiel, we can confirm it to never have happened. Um, where's Rena? It's always gonna be on the list. Look, if I hadn't questioned it so many times before, then you, the commenters, wouldn't have brought it up the fact that I had mentioned it so many times. So now it's a thing. It's a meme in my own head. I'm gonna keep asking until we see Rena. Where's Rena? What else? There is the Sloof's whole apparently being so weirdly okay with his kid dying, but I get that. It was a sacrifice that had to be made. Also, his kid imprisoned him for such a long time. But the fact that Clowal cried for him and the best he could pull was he sounded sad, said Jinto. In his memoirs, I guess. What else? That's about it. Like I said, I kind of expect that the vassals of Klawal are gonna throw a rebellion, even if Sloof does come by or even when Sloof retakes the kingdom or the barony rather, and proves to be a good guy. I feel like they've gotten a taste of freedom and what it means to rule themselves, even if they are enraptured with the idea of an Ob. Sloof is not ethnically, or sorry, he says not genetically an Ob, but he is of the nation. I keep saying that word, but because I can't think of a better example. He is of the nation, which might not impress them, considering they're not no longer going to see the garb, they're no longer going to see the blue hair. He is just going to be a guy who's there. And like I said, Grende, I'm saying her name wrong, but I'm just not going to scroll up because you know who I'm talking about, has already gotten that taste, and I think there's just going to be an open rebellion. They've got the guns, they've got the means, and now they've got the will. Other than that, I think I should just go ahead and get into the episode, watch what I'm going to see here. I don't really have a guess. I only know that the United Mankind has gotten to the port before they did. They're doing propaganda. I don't know where Lafiel goes in that scene because she wasn't in the scene with Jinto. Other than that, no clue. No clue at all. So I say we get into it, and whatever I have, I'll obviously do in the note-taking section afterwards. So let's go ahead and watch episode 9.
Bottom road, Gospiun abri arca. Geni scudau sot shotoleva. Yambu, lo carrel, little rebelli. Lormani voca, inula ableca, bomcosi direia. Both gray souls, sena matrogolds. Masfas,
So it's overpopulated?
Iara cutas baki. Sona gori, soti iara bailey.
Is it that it has a million vassals? No, it just said envoys. They keep indicating a turning point in history is coming. Oh, is this the 4 envoys of the United... the 4 nations? Okay. That one guy was United Mankind, but I'm getting... My guess would be that the other 3 were the part of the 4 nations that comprise the 4 nations. Sorry, I forgot the name already. My notepad is just so full of words. What do we call them? Let's see, United Mankind, member of Nova Sicily Treaty Military Alliance, Nation, aka the 4 Nations Alliance. Okay, I would assume the other 3 were envoys of the 4 Nations Alliance, and they're making a united front to an empty throne, which I also have to think is very metaphorical, but also that I wouldn't know who should be on it. Because the Emperor, I thought the Emperor got dethroned, right? No, I just said right. The Emperor's not there, though. And we know that one of his sons is a king. Desanio, rather, Lord Desanio is labeled as a king. But this is an empire, so the Emperor should be there. Why would they let 4 envoys in if they know that he's not there? This seems like a mismanagement of things more than it is the Emperor's fault.
その他名を知らないが、私に協力してくれた帝国国民たち、そなたたちに感謝を。私はできるだけ早く戻ってくる。それまで待っていてくれるよう頼む。
That's cute.
あくまでスファグノーフへいらっしゃるおつ
It
もり
implies
です
that
な。
despite the Baron's insistence that she's lying, that she hasn't forgotten them.
ことにもなりかねませんぞ。
行く。止まるか進むか迷った時は進めと教育された。
It's a harsh message.
暇があればまた来るがいい。ハイド伯爵家の創設譚を聞かせてくれ。代わりにわしがアーブとしての心構えをゆっくり教えてやる。
ぜひとも。
できれば子供を作る前にな。
はい。僕らは
Once again, remember, you imagined that. Lafiel hasn't implied that at all.
フェブダー手段酌量を飛び立った。おそらく戦場であろうその場所へ向かって。
I guess without the time bubble
ジント、
around the
ス
wreckage,
ファグノーフ門が識別圏に入ったぞ。
that they wouldn't detect the wreckage at all of that fight.
いくつかの時空砲がある。これが敵か味方か。
敵だったら
もちろん突破する。
だよね。
あと7時間でスファグノーフ門に突入する予定だ。
温かく迎えられるといいんだけどね。
思いっきり熱く迎えられるかもしれない。
I could outlive the op. I'm as enraptured as the vassals were.
悪い知らせだ。
やっぱりね。もうその先は言わなくていいよ。
敵味方識別信号だ。
帝国の
どこのかはわからないけど、帝国のでないことだけは確かだな。
騙してやることはできないの？味方だって。
よくそんな卑劣なことが思いつけるな。
どうせ僕は育ちが悪いよ。
来た。
Sounds like
停戦命令だ。
no game, no
停
life,
止
like
状態を取らなき
the
ゃ
power of the
攻
weak.
撃すると言っている。
もちろん止まらないんだろうね。
止まってほしいのか？
いや、
ならいい。
It's like they already fired mines.
かわしたのか。ついてくるなよ。
逃げ切ってみせる。
できるの？
機雷の燃料が尽きればな。
こっちの燃料は神様。
I mean, you only need enough fuel to get to the port.
増えた。誰が注文したんだこんなもの。
これで勝てたかもしれない。燃料切れが近いんだ。だから新しい機雷を。
やった。でも
To forever sit in space-time
逃げ
alone.
込める。
来るよ。ラフィール。
戦闘加速に入る。
Conceivably, they could have moved faster, yeah, if he didn't care about how much Jinto could take.
あいつら通常宇宙まで追いかけてくるんじゃないかな。
通常宇宙ならこっちの加速性能の方が上だ。やったぞ。
機雷は
あそこだ。
I mean, even if they reached normal space, they could still run out of fuel,
全然
right?
見当違いのところへ出たのか。けどこの辺にも敵がいるんじゃない？
多分いない。
間の抜けた話だな。
他で忙しいからだ。
I guess they also wouldn't want to destroy an Imperial vessel in open space where witnesses are.
平面宇宙にいた敵は外から来る政界軍を警戒していたんじゃない。スファグノーフを封鎖してたんだ。
戦闘継続中か。
うん。帝国政界軍応答願う。こちら巡察官ゴースロス搭載連絡艇。
Right, that's where you would find out that Gosroth didn't make it here.
帝国政界軍応答願う。帝国政界軍応答願う。
こちら通信艦隊スファグノーフ基地。連絡艇状況知らせ。
巡察官ゴースロスはイトゥーム533領域で正体不明の時空砲軍と遭遇。本艇は母艦の航行日誌および搭乗非戦闘員を伴って先行。ただいま当公国に到着。
了解。連絡艇軍機密保持のためそれ以上の詳細は通信することを禁じる。
了解。スファグノーフ基地指示を願う。
遺憾ながら当基地は規定を受け入れられない。独断専行せよ。
了解した。スファグノーフ基地。
I was about to say,
本艇はこれ
okay,
より独
she's
断専
not
行せよ。
reacting to that negatively, so it must be normal procedure.
それは望み薄だな。連絡艇だが帝国には勝利を。
However, she seems upset by this, which means it's not.
当然であろう。各報告あたりに配備された軍は少ない。通信基地一つで本格的な侵攻を持ちこたえられるものか。
ごめん、馬鹿げた質問だったな。
いや、
The debris floating by doesn't
結
really
局
help.
そなたを無事に送り届けることは叶わなくなった。
君のせいじゃないさ。で、敵の状況はどう？
遠いけど3隻こちらに向かっている。
3って数字がよっぽど好きなんだな、連中は。なんだろうあれ。
軌道塔みたいだな。
敵に破壊されたんだ。
卑しいことをする。軌道塔は軍事基地じゃないのに。
ね
Oh,
え、
that's
この
not
連
good.
絡艇は着
They're
陸できる？
targeting civilian targets now.
そうだよ。軌道塔がないなら着陸するしかないだろう。
できるはずだ。
はずって？
うん、やっぱりできるみたいだ。
ちょっと待ってよ。ひょっとして今まで着陸することを考えてなかったの？
うん、
じゃあどうするつもりで？
戦いに参加しようと思って。
どうやって？
One more of the fuel ejection thing?
考えてなかった。けど何かできるかもしれないじゃないか。今だって3隻の敵を引きつけてる。
このおバカ者！
何を言われても仕方ないな。そなたの命を軽く考えたのだから。
I mean, sometimes you need somebody around in your life to tell you you're being a fool.
君たちはやたら長い寿命を持ってるくせにどうしてそう死に急ぐんだ？
死に急いでいるわけではない。
そうとしか思えないよ。
もう戦いは始まってるんだ。軍師が戦場に出ればやることは決まってるであろう。
じゃあ勝手にしろよ。けど僕はまだ軍師じゃないんだからな。あの惑星に降ろしてもらうよ。
分かった。どうせそなたなど戦場にいても役に立たないんだからな。
君だって同じだろ。
I mean, ouch, but also double ouch from both
そなたの
sides.
言う通りだ。私も役立たずだ。
前にも言ったろ。君は僕の役に立ってるんだよ。
I feel like this is gonna come to bite him in the ass
僕は
eventually.
今のところただの役立たずだけどね。いつかは誰かが頼ってくれるかもしれないじゃないか。その時まで生きていたいし、君にも生きていてほしいんだよ。
うん。
通信基地かい？
違う。電波は前方の宇宙艦から来てる。
敵か。近い。
うん、かなり。加速
When I
を停
say
止し
bite
な
him
い
in
と
the ass, I mean
攻
the
撃する
whole.
と言っている。
She's eventually gonna say, I want to be
少しは
important to
面
someone
白い
more
ことを
important
言うか
than
と思っ
you.
たのに。
面白みに欠ける連中に殺されるのは嫌だね。
私もだ。
Cute.
じゃあとっととこの星に潜り込もう。
あいつらをかわしてからな。
You should really use seatbelts.
使ったの。
奴らが方向転換してももう追いつけない。大気圏に突入する。あまり騒がぬがよい。
お手柔らかに。何？どうしたの？
心配するな。指揮官を切り離しただけだ。
だけだって。
反物質燃料を抱いたまま大気圏に突入するわけにはいかぬだろ。人の迷惑も考えないとな。
でも
Yes, because apparently it's
連絡
poison
はもともと着陸するようにはできていない。
for some reason.
着
Again,
陸するという
still
の
don't
は
understand that.
緊急脱出と同じなんだ。
本当に大丈夫なの？
私だって怖いんだ。初めてなんだぞ。
初めてって
言ったであろう。地上世界には行ったことがないんだ。
Also, she's a pilot trainee.
訓練はした。
どっちが怖いんだ？着陸するのと地上世界と。
両方だ。
I mean, obviously they wouldn't die.
着陸
They're
し
the main
た。
characters.
うん。ジンと急ごう。上から見られてるかもしれない。開け。持っているがよい。
うん。
Supposedly she has both guns still, right?
よい
There
か。
we go.
いいよ。
消滅準備。
消滅準備完了しました。
さらばだ。自己消滅せよ。
了解。機密保持規定に基づき全情報及び処理系を消去します。無事を祈ります。
なんか
The eyes were
闇の様子だ。
creepy. But I appreciate that
Sa-
all their tech
行こ
is designed to protect them.
う。
Because she hasn't been in gravity before.
どうした
Gravity
の？
well, I guess.
いや、なんでもない。
Even though they've got artificial gravity anyways, this really shouldn't be anything for her.
ジント、ちょっと待ってくれ。
どうしたの？
ジント、私は目がおかしくなった。
なんだって。
星がちらついて見える。
え？
足手まといになりたくない。私が失明したら構わずそなた一人で
Overreacting.
持って。
That's what stars do in an
ねえ、ヒロ。
atmosphere.
せっかくの自己犠牲精神に水を差して申し訳ないけど、大気の底では星が瞬くのが当たり前なんだ。
そなたも同じように見えるのか？
うん。
本当か？
嘘なんかついてどうするんだよ、こんなとこで。
Although I don't remember them twinkling quite that much. Damn, this is an alien world even to me.
君の受けてきた教育にはかなり大きな偏りが感じられるな。
黙れジント。
They are cute together. Also, your pod didn't self-destruct yet, so...
穴の中で一晩眠って目が覚めた時にはもう夕方だった。
アーブによる人類帝国の支配から解放してくれた人類統合体に感謝しましょう。
辺りはまるで静かだった。戦争の気配なんかないみたいに。
Well, to be fair, you crashed on somebody's farm,
人
it
類
seems.
統合体からの声明をお伝えします。我々がこのスファグノーフ公国に侵攻したのはアーブによる人類帝国の無謀な行為に対しての報復です。
やっぱり
我々が新しく発見したソード付近の平面宇宙を探査していたところ、帝国の軍艦が突然攻撃を仕掛けてきたのです。
嘘だ。
Oh, he was there.
恩美は嘘をついておる。
She was there.
我が軍の艦艇が攻撃を仕掛けたと恩美はおっしゃるが、誇り高き政界軍には確たる理由もなく他者へ戦闘を挑む無法者はおらぬ。
例外があったと見るべきでしょうな。明らかに。
もしも例外があったとしたら破れるはずがない。
我々はその軍艦を撃退しましたが、
Yeah, well, we have covered the would fight overwhelming odds before. The Gosroth was 30%, something like that.
新しいソードの安全のため
She took on the Baron at a 10% chance.
スファグノーフ公国を保証占領したものです。
これがゴースロスのことだとしたら。大使殿、この身はもっと洗練された偽りを聞かせてくれるものと期待していた。だが期待外れだった。残念に思う。そう決めつけられる前に。
What if that's supposed to be like a birthmark like Gorbachev's?
私はアーブによる人類帝国と人類統合体による共同の調査委員会を設置して中立3カ国からなる監視員を出すことを提案します。
恩美も嘘をつかれるおつもりか。恩美らは同盟を結んでおられる。中立であろうはずがない。
しかし陛下、もし人類統合体と開戦するようなことがあれば、我が人民主権政権連合体はノバシチリア条約に従い帝国に宣戦を布告します。
Literally a military treaty, of course.
拡大アルコント共和国とハニア連邦も同様であろう。よろしい。では戦おう。
Call that bluff. You call that bluff.
陛下、よくお考えください。つまり陛下は人類社会の半分と戦うことになるのですぞ。
大使殿はお忘れか。残り半分は我が帝国のもの。
これだけは申しておきます。帝国には何の理念もない。絶対に勝利はありえないでしょう。
I'll fuck it off with that.
おっしゃる通
Who
り。
cares about that?
我が帝国に理念はない。しかし戦いの勝敗に理念が関わることがあるとは。恩美の迷信であろう。
So he's Gorbachev as Russia.
諸教
The one on the far left is clearly China.
諸教
Next to
の
her is
外交特権
India,
は今より24時間
which
後
must
に
make
消
that
滅
woman America?
最後に申しておこう。我らがこの戦いに勝てば人類最後の戦争となるだろう。
高級平和ですか。多くの人間が夢見てまいりました。しかし一
I
度
mean,
も
obviously
実現
I'm
したことは
American,
ご
so
ざ
I'm
いませ
assuming
ん。
she's an American. In that some other country I just can't think of.
かつてはアーブがいなかったのだ。 僕らの頭上、遥か宇宙で戦いの火蓋は切って落とされた。
I mean, that was the best way to handle that, I think. Oh, I didn't even think we were going to get right to the end. I mean, obviously, I know they each represent an individual nation amongst the Four Nations Alliance, but they so clearly represented a people in a way that I feel bad for, like literally calling them out. They so look like they represent a people that I could have seen them representing neo nations in G Gundam, right? And you don't want to be the person calling out a country by their G Gundam representation, because that is a bad look. But the dude was so clearly Gorbachev birthmark had to be Russia. The lady on the far left was so, again, Maoist China. She had that look that the other two have to represent something. So I'm sorry if I say the guy wearing the turban must represent the representation of India, and the blonde woman. Like, what else? Sure, she could be British. Sure, she could represent the European Union, but when it comes to world powers, America is always on the stage, no matter what. So if there's a Russia, there's gotta be a USA.
バカ。
ラフィル、なるべく早く戻ってくるからここで待ってて。それに君は目立ちすぎる。無理しなさんなって。半径100光年で信頼できるのはそなたしかいないなんて絶対に言うわけないか。
Well, she would if you were imagining things like you have been the entire time. I do like we're finally getting like an almost immediate callback to you have to help me out, or you should help me out because you're the only one that can. Because one day I would like to be able to extend my hand to help somebody else out, and I'd like you to be there for that. Well, it turns out she is there for that because you're the one who's helping her. So I mean, I appreciate that it's an almost instantaneous payoff, but knowing that there's what Banner of the Stars after this, Banner of the Stars 2 and Banner of the Stars 3, and a prelude thing. Well, it's the only time I'm ever gonna not watch the prelude first, but because I was specifically told you shouldn't. That's the only reason why I'm not. But I'm not sure if I would have rathered it paid off now, like only a couple episodes from the first time it was said, and literally the episode after it was said the last time, versus being paid off down the road. Because if you paid off like down the road, like 2 seasons from now, I'm gonna be like, aha, and I'm gonna feel like a genius for having realized the obvious. And there's nothing I feel like beyond, again, emotional resonance between characters. I've said that 1,000 times now. There is nothing else beyond that other thing I just said that will keep me in as much as feeling like a genius for the simplest of things. So, you do that, I'm on board. Other than that, what else do we get? I love the Empress's way of handling it. They're clearly trying to entrap her and make it look like she started the war. But she's like, no, you're lying. My people don't do that. Yeah, well, what if we investigate it? Investigate it. We don't do that. Oh, what about this? Doesn't matter. We don't do that. Even if it's an outlier, even if this is a pirate king of our people, they wouldn't have lost then. What are you doing? They know about your treaty. We know about your wanting to start this war. So let's just go ahead. Let's be at war. We'll win. And you know what? I think they will win because they're 4 different nations acting as a union. That still makes them more disorganized than a whole empire working as one. And we know what the Ob are like. They will fight with a 10% chance of winning, as though they had a 100% chance of winning. And that's what I love about them. I can't wait for Lord Desanio to turn his ass around and kick some United Mankind ass, and then work his way down the 4 treaty alliance until there's no longer a war left. You know, thinking about this does ring heavy bells of Legend of the Galactic Heroes now that I think about it. That we're going to fight a war to stop all other wars from happening. This has a yang tint to it. Um, of course, I can't say anything about Reinhardt because Reinhardt's still all about winning. I have no idea if he ever has a plan to end war because it seems like his current plan, as far as we've seen on the show, has been to just win. And if I win, then war will be over already. So it's war with everybody. So I have no clue. But it does very much give me the feel of that. Otherwise, I guess next episode, what do we have to look forward to but the two characters surviving on their own for a time? As he pointed out, she stands out. I think the ears make it pretty recognizable that she's part of the royal family. That seems to be the thing, right? Other Robs, even genetic ones, have normal ears. The Empress, elf ears. Lord Desanio, elf ears. Her dad, elf ears. Her, elf ears. Has to be a royal family thing. Beyond that, yeah, I don't know where they go from here. Obviously, unless Gento has some plan of stealing a spaceship from what appears to be some farmer's field, I have no idea what they're doing other than just surviving. And they clearly haven't communicated with anybody, so I don't know how any help was going to arrive unless it's just an Ob fleet gets here and then they can communicate. Otherwise, unless Sloof sends a communique about what's happening and lets them know that these two were coming here, there's some wiggle room for survival, I guess. But yeah, that's it for my pre-notes thoughts, obviously. So let's just go ahead and get into the notes-taking section, and then I'll hit you back up if I've made any discoveries, or I'll just hit you up with what I wrote down, even if they're things I just said, because that's how I'm handling things now. So catch you on the flip side. All right, we're back from the note-taking section. There's not that much that stuck out to me. Um, More so than when I was just commenting on it when it happened on screen. Typically, the stuff I take notes on are more than the baseline of my commentary, right? Because being that this is a reaction, right, I'm expected to just speak about what's happening on screen and just generally notarize it how I'm feeling about what's happening. But the stuff I take notes about are the stuff that I expect to have weight to the story, the stuff that I want to see come back again or have questions answered about. So, despite the amount of stuff I may have said during, the amount of notes that I took are less than any other, I was gonna call them chapters, any other episode so far. First off, Lock Fuck Fell. Well, I'm about to say something weird. I'm trying to say the capital. Lock Fuck Ale. Lock Fuck Ale. That doesn't sound right either. Is the capital. They said that before in a previous episode. I believe they mentioned that before, but here we got the home of the Obs as Space Fortress Abriel, the Imperial Palace, which of course bears the name of the Imperial family. So, was that just the name of it in Ob? And now we've gotten the English name? By the way, I'll probably post like a listing of the words that I've come up with in my notepad to the Discord at some point. So, you know, you'll see all the words that I'm confused about or generally know what they mean. Not that I hear them being said anymore. So you'll know from there if you're in the Discord. And assuming you're not watching this 2 months after I've already recorded it, in which case it's still in the Discord. Go check it out. I appreciate that this episode called back to 3 different things we covered in previous episodes. One, Jinto's ability to withstand high speeds in the shuttle, or lack thereof. Hold on. I'm gonna quickly correct that in my notes. I made it seem like he can. Jinto's lack of ability. There we go. To withstand high speeds in the shuttle. 2, the variability of exiting a sword in any given location. Lexu goes over this before about how it seems to be like random chance navigating in planar space in and out of swords. And 3, Lafiel protecting Jinto so that Jinto can protect someone that needs him later. In this case, turning out to be Lafiel. I appreciate it. You set stuff up with callback. You set stuff up in the previous episodes. You gotta do callbacks later. I think it all fits into what I said before. Make me feel smart, and I'll like the show more. So the sensation I got about military secrecy among the Yob was that they weren't permitted to land at Suffolk base. Another name I'm never gonna get right. Due to the fact it was expected to fall and would have meant that their evidence of logs would have been destroyed in much the same way that their shuttle was on landing, because the whole matter of secrecy was done in that scene as well, but was only implied to the scene where they requested clearance to land. Nothing can fall in enemy hands, so don't come here and it won't be an issue, being the implication. The Obs say a lot in what they do not say. Lean back towards last episode and Sloof covering, or I guess translating to Jinto, the stuff that Lafiel was saying, but was also saying by not saying other things. Sloof understood this, that the Ob have some sort of they have their own way of saying things, which I like that too. It takes a lot of reading into. I'd like to know what antimatter does in this universe. It seems more like a poison than it does traditional antimatter in any other sci-fi genre. When antimatter comes into contact with matter, it releases energy. Therefore, most times in sci-fi, it explodes. Here, you mix it in with your fuel and it kills people, like they bleed out. So I don't know. I just like an explanation, please. I guess lastly, it's interesting to know that the Ob are an agnostic state. Not that it changes much in the long run. I just appreciate that they are very much a people that appreciates what's in front of them more so than creating things that doesn't exist. Or sorry, obviously my viewpoints do not represent the viewpoints of everybody ever having been represented on this channel or will be ever in the future represented on this channel. That's just my clarification for there. I appreciate that they appreciate what is directly before them and not necessarily what other people see that they don't. I'll say it that way. Otherwise, I don't think any of my past questions got answered. Like, I still don't know where the hell Rena is at. I've got 2 more people to add to the concept board, so hopefully I remember to do that by the next recording, and then I'll show that off. I appreciate that the Empress is a badass. I love badass characters, so we have that. Other than that, though, I don't think there's anything left to cover. This episode's been very straightforward. It's more emotionally based, I feel like, with the peppering of both callbacks and information about very specific elements of the culture. I like it. I like it a lot. Otherwise, I guess I will see you all next time on the next recording of Crest of the Stars or the next episode of Stoneface Reaction Watch. I'm in all of them. Bye bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone-Faced Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?